You know what I love most about big dogs? They don't realize they're big. Colonel weighs more than most adults, stands tall enough to rest his chin on kitchen counters, and when he runs toward you, the ground literally shakes. But in his mind, he's a tiny puppy who fits perfectly in your lap, and honestly, that's the most beautiful contradiction in the world. Colonel is the biggest dog in our entire town, and he's just bursting to make friends. Every single day, every single person, he approaches everyone with the waggiest tail you've ever seen. It's not just a wag, it's his entire body wiggling with pure joy. And who could possibly say no to that face? Strangers will cross the street just to meet him, and he accepts them like they're long-lost family members he's been waiting his whole life to find. I'm watching the viewer count climb, and I can see most of you haven't subscribed yet. That actually breaks my heart a little, and here's why. Colonel's story is just beginning, and if it's already touching you, even just a tiny bit, imagine the stories still to come. This channel exists because dogs like Colonel deserve to have their voices heard. Your subscription isn't just a number to us, it's a promise that these stories matter, that these lives matter. So if Colonel has made you smile even once in the last minute, please subscribe. It takes 2 seconds, but it means absolutely everything. What makes Colonel truly magical is his ability to read people. He especially knows when to be gentle with little children. I've watched him drop into a play bow for a nervous toddler, moving in slow motion, making himself as small as possible. The child's mother was terrified at first, clutching her baby close, but then she saw it. The way Colonel's eyes softened, the way he barely breathed, waiting for permission. Within minutes, that same toddler was giggling, tiny fingers buried in Colonel's fur. And despite what anyone might assume about a dog his size, even cats are his best friends. Our neighbor's cat, Shadow, actually seeks him out now. I've seen that little black cat curl up right in the cave of Colonel's front legs, purring so loud you can hear it from across the room. Colonel just freezes, like he's holding something precious and breakable. Some people think he's scary because he's so big. I understand it, I really do. When you see 90 pounds of dog bounding toward you, every instinct screams danger. But Colonel is the sweetest soul you will ever meet. He's never met a person he didn't immediately love, never met a problem he didn't think could be solved with affection. I was only a teenager when we got Colonel. Come on, boy. Those were the first words I ever said to him, calling him from his crate at the rescue. He was friendly and open from that very first moment, just curious about absolutely everything. He was this goofy, clumsy presence that needed to be part of whatever was going on. If I was crying over a breakup, he'd bring me his favorite toy. If I was studying for exams, his giant head would appear on my textbook, eyes asking, "But have you considered petting me instead?" There's no such thing as personal space between us. Sometimes he still acts like he's a lapdog, which is absolutely ridiculous because he's so big. I'll be sitting on the couch and suddenly I can't breathe because 70 pounds of dog has decided my chest is the perfect pillow. But I never move him, not once. Those first few years were golden. Every morning felt like Christmas to him. Every walk was an adventure. I later became a dog walker, and Colonel was over the moon about it. Suddenly, his world expanded. He would show love to every dog that joined us, from nervous rescues to hyperactive puppies. And Colonel always greeted strangers on the path too, turning our neighborhood walks into a parade of smiles. He made everyone we met fall in love with him. People would stop me and say things like, "I was having the worst day, and then your dog happened." Everything was perfect. I was even researching how to train him as a service dog. He had everything: the temperament, the intelligence, the gentle spirit. I could picture him changing someone's life the way he'd changed mine. But life has this way of testing the things we love most. Sadly, just a few years after we got Colonel, my grandparents passed away within months of each other. I was crushed, completely shattered. There were days I couldn't get out of bed, days where breathing felt like too much effort. But Colonel never left my side, not to eat, not to play. He just stayed, his massive body pressed against mine, absorbing every tear. And because of that, we didn't just stay close, we became inseparable. He became the reason I kept going. Then, one autumn morning, I noticed he was getting tired on our walks. He wasn't quite himself, moving slower, hesitating on stairs. I told myself he was just getting older. Dogs slow down. It's natural. It's fine. Until it wasn't. The sound of him falling down the stairs is something I'll never forget. The crash, the yelp, the terrible, terrible silence that followed. His leg was broken, badly, and I was absolutely heartbroken. I knew recovery would be long and painful, and that he might never walk the same way again. But I also knew I wasn't going to let him give up, and neither were our friends. With his leg and other issues, we started canine therapy and physiotherapy. And even though I could see it hurt, even though every session made him tremble, he handled it like a champion. He was making friends with all the doctors and nurses, greeting them with that same wagging tail despite the pain. They told me they'd never seen a dog with such spirit. When we finally returned to our walks, I expected a different dog, a slower, more cautious version of who he'd been. But I took him out with his protective gear, and he was behaving like he had no injury at all. If anything, he greeted everyone with even more enthusiasm, like he'd learned something the rest of us forget, that every moment of joy is precious because it can be taken away. We take breaks now, we rest more, but he can't help how much love he still has to give. Colonel is one of those souls who just makes the world better by existing in it, not because he's perfect, but because he loves perfectly. So here's what I want to know. When a dog loves you through your darkest moments, then fights through their own pain to keep spreading joy, does that change how you see loyalty?